Welcome back to another week of Procrastination Garage. My name's Matt. Well, what did we do this week? It was a week of just doing this, that, and the other thing. We did wrap up this episode today, just a few minutes ago, by getting the solar panel finally wired into the snowmobile trailer to keep the batteries charged. That project's not 100% done, but it's pretty darn close. We hunted gophers, we worked on irrigation, we just did a little bit of everything. So I hope you guys will sit back and watch the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell all your friends. Thanks. And how are we starting off this week's Procrastination Garage? With the doggie. She just came from the beauty parlor. Actually, we're still at the beauty parlor, just getting ready to head home. You looking cute, doggie. I didn't follow my own rules. I didn't come out last night, check them, and I didn't check them first thing this morning. But what does success look like? Well, when you got one of these that sprung up, and you pull it, and there's a dead gopher. And now these other two, more than likely they won't catch anything because it's probably just the one gopher in there. Once in a while you'll find more gophers in a set of trails, usually when they're mating and stuff. But in this case, that's probably the only one. So I will pull these traps out, put all this dirt back, rake everything out. Now let's go check our other trap. Our other set of traps, looks like maybe we had another success. Yep, sure enough. Awesome. So same thing, probably won't get another one here. We'll go ahead and fill this in, and we got some areas to rake out. So we're off to a good start. So what do I do with the dead gophers? I just dump them out on our lower property. Scavengers will get them, birds, coyotes, something. It's cycle of life. It's Tuesday, and not a very exciting day for Procrastination Garage content. Right now I'm headed to the fueling station. I need to fill up some gas cans and also a couple cans of diesel for the tractor. And then later I'm going to head over to the rental and mow for the second time. And you guys saw that a while back, so there's no reason to do any video of that. So I'll get back to you when it's more interesting. What, little bear? Yeah, you want to check food? Gonna walk me over to the food bowl? Let's do it. What do you think, little boy? You got food? Look at all the food you've got. Yeah, you've got plenty of food there. All right, good kitty. I'm right in the middle of doing my second mow of the season. Didn't figure you guys wanted to see that. Notice the lawnmower's running, because if I shut it off, it probably won't restart due to the battery. Anyway, I need to turn on some sprinklers, first time this season. Thought you guys might want to see that. Here we are at the weir. We'll start by closing the neighbor's water. Probably don't need to close it all the way, but we'll close it all the way for now. I need to open this valve. Well, that valve's already open. What do you know? That valve should have been closed. And we need to close this valve. That valve back there is the bypass. This one runs through the pump. The reason it should have been closed was otherwise water is going through the pump and making the pump spin all the time. It doesn't need to do that. So anyway, we've got all set up now. Switch here, turn the pump on. Oh, step number one, the pump turned on. That's a good sign. As I'm configured right now, all the water is being pumped. You can see the stream into the pond. So we'll turn that off here in a minute. Now we're going to open a couple of sprinkler valves. I'm going to open this one and this one right here. With all the water going to the pond, these sprinklers will not run. You can see that one's coming up just a little bit. And same with the sprinkler over there, it's coming up just a little bit. But most of the pressure is going out to the pond. There are a couple ways I can shut the water off. I can go down there, I've got a valve right there where it's flowing. But because I'm lazy, I'm going to close this one here so I don't have to walk all the way down there. I don't know if you can see it, that one sprinkler is actually running pretty good down there. All right, I shut that valve off. By the time we get down here, these sprinklers should be spraying. Now the question is, they've been sitting all winter, so are they going to work correctly? It's a crapshoot. I'd guess that some of them are not doing quite what they're supposed to be doing. Hope I'm wrong. Those two are doing okay, although this one here is running backwards. Doesn't really matter. I don't know how well you can tell. If you look up here, I got a bunch of sprinklers that are running. Most of them look to be doing what they're supposed to. Although I see I've got one over here that's not working at all. My mistake. The one I thought wasn't working is on a different line. So what I really need to check, the ones that are over there along the rocks, which is a property line, I need to make sure those are going back and forth and they're not spraying in the neighbor's yard. Yeah, from standing right here, it looks like everything's working like it's supposed to. That's surprising. Well, now we'll get back to mowing. Back at the weir, I can look down in there and see my water level's too high, higher than it needs to be. That means I can open the water and let the neighbors have some. So I spun this valve open about 5 turns. That should lower the level, we'll see. I may have to adjust it again. I'll keep an eye on it while I'm mowing the front yard up here and get it set where it needs to be. Just got back from mowing the rental and have another hour or so to kill before it's time to pack things away for the day. So I figure maybe we'll play around with the snowmobile trailer. Snowmobile season is winding down. For sure I'm done using this trailer, at least for snowmobiles. So what it really needs is it needs to be cleaned out, and I need to make room to park 4 snowmobiles in it. 2 are already in here. The tag-along trailer here, it needs to come out, and I've got some stuff in it that needs to go away, and it needs a cleaning, at least on the outside. Those there, I think those are full of water bottles, They need to come out. The heater can probably stay in here, but I should blow it out with air and cover it with a garbage bag. Camp chairs need to come out. Porta potty needs to come out. And my high lift jack over there, that needs to go onto the UTV. And then we still have a project in here getting the solar panel on the roof and hooked up and charging the 2 batteries. And we don't know why the lights quit working in here, although I suspect it's a switch over there. So this will give us something to dink around with. And as I turned around, I noticed my chainsaw's in here too. That needs to come out. As expected, they were full of water bottles, all full. We'll use those for other activities during the summer. We're just going to do a little scrub-a-dub-dub, clean up the outside of the trailer, mainly get the mud off the front of it. And I got a bunch of gravel and stuff that's down there in the skis. Of course, I don't really want that in my grass, but that's where it's going to end up. And then this porta potty, let's get it cleaned up so I can go. Normally it stays in my pickup camper, but I'm going to be using the motorhome here in a couple of weeks and not going to have hookups for toilets and stuff, so I'll probably go ahead and use this porta potty so I don't have to worry about my black tank. That looks better, right? Better than it was. It's a work trailer. It doesn't need to be perfect. The thing is when we towed it back last time, we towed it probably about a quarter mile on a road through the mud and everything, and it got pretty nasty. So if you'll notice, one of my little supports for the skis there is broken off on this side, and that one's been that way for a while. But I now have one broke off on this side as well. So I have no welding skills, but I do own a welder that I've never hooked up because I don't have a plug for it. That is going to be a Procrastination Garage project. Not hooking it up, but doing the welding and fixing it. Although I may not show you guys that because the weld looks that bad. I don't need to be mocked by you guys. I guess while we're cleaning, we'll clean the inside a little bit. All I'm planning on doing is using a broom and a dustpan to pick up the wood chips and everything. I've got the shelves put back in, and those of you that have watched the channel will know what those metal poles are for. I am missing some other hardware though. I took it out and I set it in a safe spot a couple months ago. Haven't been able to find them since. Haven't needed them since, but I will need them again. So we'll have to work on that. On the last trip out, when I dumped this thing over, we did have one failure, and that was these little brackets here that go right there that hooks to. They were short little screws and they pulled out. So we need to fix that. So what we need to do is find some longer screws. We'll try using these screws. These are about twice as long. So combine that with, I shouldn't be tipping the trailer over, we should be in good shape. Nothing comes easy. Because I use the rounded headed screws here instead of the flush ones, I now have a clearance problem trying to get this to drop down in there. So we've got the Dremel with the carbide bit. A little grinding, a little bending. I had to bend this piece here a little bit to get a snugger fit. Anyway, I'm happy with that. Now the other problem is the screws that hold that bottom piece on, they're nice short screws too. So we may have to pull them in the future and put small bolts through there, but we'll wait until those pull out. Oh yeah, the porta potty. It's clean enough. It's pretty scuffed up. It's had a hard life batting around inside the snowmobile trailer. Earlier today I dumped the tank on this and I put some chemicals in it so it'll be ready to go next time. Now that we've got everything unloaded out of the trailer, I'm going to take my leaf blower and see if I can just blow everything off the floor and clean it up a little bit in here. That worked pretty good for cleaning out this side. I think I'm going to go ahead and move the sleds over to the other side and do the same thing on that side. I figured since I was backing this one mostly out of the trailer anyway, I might as well bring it up, and the rear suspension got kind of muddy on the last ride. We were on a lot of dirt, and so I figured I'd go ahead and hose it out and just rinse the whole thing down, and then we'll put it back in the trailer. Since everything is out of the way, let's figure out why our lights aren't working up there. First we'll check and see if we have voltage at the batteries there. I suspect we do. And assuming we do, then we're going to pull that switch plate off over there and see if there's power there. Now I checked voltage at the batteries and we don't have anywhere near 12 volts, that's for sure. So these need to be charged up. But that being said, there should be enough to at least make the lights turn on dim or something. So first let me put a charger on here. I put a battery tender on it. We'll see if that brings it back. It's pretty low. It may not bring it back to 12 volts. We'll see. Hope so. But this is not our problem. I stand corrected. If you watch, you'll see these things flashing off and on. That tells me that the battery charger is getting enough voltage to them that they'll fire up and then turn right back off again. So each of these lights must have a minimum voltage requirement. That's something I can figure, which means the only reason it wasn't working before, those batteries had gone too dead. And why had the batteries gone too dead? Because they're not on a charger. So that's why we've got the little solar charger that I'm going to put on the roof, and we need to get that project done here fairly soon. But anyway, the good news is we do not have a problem with lights, and that means our switch is working. Awesome. I've got these metal panels removed. You can see there's one of them right there. And the idea is I'm going to put the solar panel, that little solar panel there, up on the roof. And what I was hoping is that I could reach up and around far enough to where I could run screws down from the outside through the ceiling, not through this layer, but through this is all fiberglass cap here. I can't reach far enough up in there, and that's okay. So what I need to do is go to the hardware store, and I need to find some kind of hardware that's going to let me screw into this fiberglass and that'll pull tight, something I can put some caulking around to waterproof it. So maybe I'll get that done tomorrow. And then the other thing I was thinking, I would like to have some hooks on the sidewalls here and one in the area where that heater is that I can hang camp chairs from, because we keep camp chairs in here through most of the winter season. And I've got a metal stud that runs here, but I've got nothing everywhere else. So if I could find some kind of fastener that'll go in there that can support, I mean, it's going to need to support about 25 pounds. Maybe not quite, but when it's bouncing around, let's say 25 pounds. So maybe I can find a fastener that'll do this wall here, and we'll work up in there. So this is an ongoing project. It's a gorgeous Thursday morning. Last snowmobile ride of the season. I've said that before. Maybe true this time. Temperatures are headed up into the upper 80s by Saturday. And so even up in the mountains, it'll probably be up in the 70s. So this may be the last of it. If he thinks that's steep, wait until he gets to the top. Headed home. Had a great day of snowmobiling today. Just my friend and I. Temperature is about 80 degrees outside, and it was probably 60 degrees up in the mountain. That may be the last ride of the season. Good bet. We ran a couple of sprinklers on Wednesday. Let's fire up another row and see how it does. Things are looking pretty good over in this side yard. All the sprinklers seem to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's Friday morning. What do we have on the books for today? Not real exciting Procrastination Garage content for sure. I've got jobs at both rentals. I've got to put window air conditioners in at the one rental, and then the other one I need to turn on the irrigation system. So we need to unhook the trailer, we need to load some air conditioners up and some other stuff and get to work. In the process of unhooking the trailer, I was tired of the squeak that I was getting every time I used the jack. So I took care of it. Nice and quiet now. What did I use? I used some WD-40 white lithium grease. And while I was at it, I went ahead and hit the jack on the snowmobile trailer. Kind of part of the process of getting this thing ready for the summer sit. So I went ahead and I've got a hole drilled here, and then I've got one drilled on that other one over there. And the idea is just so I can spray grease in there. These things get really rough to use and get rusty, and I suppose adding the hole doesn't help. It allows water to get in there, but it also makes it easier for me to put grease in there, or oil, or I mean just regular WD-40, anything to help lubricate them. Anyway, this is good to go. Air conditioners are in the back of the truck, and we're headed over to rental number 1. Look at all the pretty dandelions in the neighbor's yard. And pretty much in that yard too. And then if you look past the dog, we've got a few in our yard, but not so bad. So anyway, air conditioners are all installed. What I should probably tell you is that even though we don't have central air, I take pretty good care of our renters over there. I have 3 air conditioners. There's 3 bedrooms. There's 2 bedrooms that have air conditioners, and the kitchen has an air conditioner which takes care of the living room and the kitchen. So, and I take them out every fall so they don't cost them anything for heating, you know, the gaps and stuff. And in the spring, I put them back in. I use plexiglass around them so they still have some window where the air conditioner is, and then I try and weather strip them. So I do a pretty good job with that. The other house has central air, so that's better. Heck, even our house doesn't have central air. We've got window air conditioner at our place too, a couple of them. Oh well, that's life. So I tried to turn on some of the irrigation water here, and I did in fact get a couple a hose bib and some sprinklers across the back of the property turned on. I tried to get another area turned on, but there was a broken pipe, and I didn't have a shovel with me and didn't have enough PVC parts, so I'll be back here on Monday to do that. I should have been taking some video when I was trying to turn the water on. I've got this one box that's got these valves that have to be turned on, and they've got drain plugs, and I had inadvertently forgotten to put the drain plugs all the way back in, so they were just barely threaded on there. And I noticed one of them was leaking, so I thought, well, I'll just get down there with my pair of pliers and tighten it up instead of shutting the water off and then tighten it up. And as soon as I touched it with the pliers, it popped loose and water came shooting out, and the bottom of the box is full of dirt, which quickly turned to mud, which splattered all over my face. I'm a disaster right now, and I'd show you, but I'm too embarrassed to let you see it, so never mind. I'd say that's enough watering for that area. Those sprinklers worked fine all morning. Let's go turn on another area. We'll turn on the 2 valves in that box, which will get sprinklers running in this area. That's nice. Looks like everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Sweet. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Temperature today is supposed to be above 80. My wife thinks that it's summertime and it's time to get out the patio furniture. That seems reasonable, except it's hanging up there. These couple of chairs on this side, not so bad. They can drop straight down. Unfortunately, the little love seat over there and coffee table, they need to drop down where the toolbox and the motorcycle are. Guess we got some rearranging to do. What do you think? Looks pretty good, right? Don't judge the rest of the patio. Also put out my wife's lighthouse little fountain here. So I just got to brag. This set of furniture here, $100 at Walmart. End of the season. It was $400 at the beginning of the season. Can't beat that. It's Monday morning, and of course I'm not done with Procrastination Garage for last week. So we're headed to the hardware store, hoping to find some fasteners for the solar panel to put on the roof of the snowmobile trailer. Let's see what we find. Made it to Helms, back from the hardware store. So what did we end up with? Well, these little drywall anchors here I think will do. I got some for 1/2 inch and 1/8, 1/4. I think it's the 1/8, 1/4 is the right thickness. We'll check it out. The reason I picked these is because of the way the head design is. When they're pushed down through the fiberglass, I think I'll be able to get a good seal right around the edge there using RTV sealant. So I think what I'm going to have to do is go ahead and install these with RTV and let them dry, and then I'll be able to mount the solar panel afterwards. That's where it's going to sit right there. I need to mark some mounting holes and drill a couple of 5/16 inch holes for the fasteners. Holes are drilled and I've got the little mounts in place. I'm going to dab a little silicone around the edge and then tighten a screw down in them. Well, frankly, these fasteners are not giving me the warm fuzzy I was hoping for. When I screwed the screw down into them, it didn't feel like it pulled up the inner plastic piece like it was supposed to on either one of them. So they're not pulled down tight like I had wanted them to be, like they should be. Now, that being said, will they still work? I think so. I think because of the silicone being around them, that'll anchor them in place. We're going to go ahead and keep pushing forward and figure it out. For now, these are going to dry. Next thing we got to do is we got to make a place for the electrical to come in. And my thought is, this front light right here, we will make it so it can come in at the bottom of it and go up and in. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up cutting this cord so I can feed it through a smaller hole, and then we'll wire it from the inside. So let's get that going. As I'm doing a little wiring on the solar charger, it's good to have some help. Are you helping, Bear? He's a good helper. It just started to rain, but let me tell you where we're at. I'm pretty much done, really. I drilled a hole right here underneath this light, and I fished the wire through. And let me tell you, that was a lot of work getting that wire to fish through, because there's a metal bracket on the inside that fought me the whole way. The two screws up here, they're still drying. We'll probably let them dry until tomorrow. We've got the solar panel just sitting up here, flipped over. As long as we don't have any wind, we're going to be okay. Now let's go on the inside. This is the metal piece I was telling you about. Of course, the wiring came in down low on it, so I had a hard time fishing it, but I finally got it. So the wire is running right across through here, going down behind this wall a little bit, just a little ways, then coming out through a hole, and then it's feeding into this upper battery box. And if we take the lid off that upper battery box, you can see I'm wired in here and here, positive and negative on this one. And so that should be supplying constant voltage, however much the solar charger is putting out, into that battery. And as you'll recall, if you saw previous videos, these two wires here run down to the second battery here. So since these batteries are so small, I've doubled the capacity by running two of them. So I've checked everything with the meter, and right now we're sitting at about 12.9 volts. Most of that is because I had it on the battery tender overnight, which brought the voltage back up. Now the question is going to be, it's cloudy out there now, so I suspect that that little solar panel is probably not doing anything. So I'll need to come back when it's sunny out and see what the reading is, and maybe then disconnect the solar panel and try again. Actually, it won't disconnect it, just flip it upside down, about all you can do. Because I do have it hardwired in. I was gonna put something in here so I could disconnect it, and the more I thought about it, why bother? If I have a problem and have to disconnect it down the road, I can cut this wire here or up in here, and I could add some quick disconnects then. But for now, it's good. So one other thing, we verified the light situation. The batteries are now up to voltage, so if I turn the switch on, look at there, we've got lights. So I suspect that was our problem all along, and I guess I could have cured that a lot earlier by charging that battery up, or batteries. What I don't know is I'm not sure why those batteries went dead, because they got very little use from the lights themselves, and the only other thing that's tied into that battery is the breakaway switch for the trailer. So I don't really know why they went dead so quickly, but now that they're on that little charger, solar charger, hopefully they won't go dead again. So that's it. I think we're wrapping up. As I'm closing up a snowmobile trailer today, I thought I might as well put these two machines on battery tenders. They're done for the season, won't be ridden until November at the earliest. Both of them are set up to easily wire in a battery tender. I'll show you. On my daughter's machine, there's a connector right here, and in the wintertime, it's plugged into this, which provides 12-volt power up to the handlebar bag so she can charge her phone. And then when the season's over, I unplug that, and then I can plug a battery tender right in there. So that's not too bad. But on this machine here, the old 550 fan, it's even easier because my light's just turned off. There's actually a plug right up here by the handlebars. There it is. And I just plug in right there. Now you can see both battery tenders are flashing green. That means the batteries are mostly charged, which is where they ought to be. Done with the trailer for now. And it's time to wrap up this week's Procrastination Garage. I mean last week's Procrastination Garage. That's a wrap on this week's Procrastination Garage. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I guess we spent the most time working in and around the snowmobile trailer, and that's a good thing. Getting it better prepared for next season. Also went snowmobiling, probably the last ride of the season, and worked on irrigation stuff. Just did a little bit of everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, the #1 goal of Procrastination Garage is to get me out of the house so I'm not sitting around watching YouTube videos and TikTok all the time. But I'm working on projects in the shop, out in the yard, or up in the mountains playing. Down in the comments, tell me about the things that you're procrastinating about, or tell me about the great projects you're working on. I want to hear about them. With that, this is Procrastination Garage. My name is Matt, and we'll see you next week.